is Alex.
This is Hat.
And this is Yum.
Happy Valentine's Day from your schmoody doodles.
Please don't ever say that again.
It's time for romance and
Sick
great
burn.
pants. Hello, how's everyone doing?
I'm
Is
okay.
he? Oh, I'm not even looking at the faces.
Neither am I.
Okay, Okay, there we
thanks,
go.
guys. How you doing? How's everyone doing today?
Pretty good.
Doing all
You
right.
good?
I was
You got it.
drawing.
You guys got Valentine's?
No, fuck that.
Interesting. Okay, interesting. Yaman, how about you? You got a Valentine?
No.
Okay, Yaman's,
There you go.
Yaman's gone. So moving on.
I said no. I said, did you not hear me say no?
I didn't hear you say no. No.
Okay, I'll yell
This
next
is
time.
working great.
Yeah, please yell. Okay.
Who's
So-
your Valentine, Alex? I'd
Mm.
love to know.
Jesus.
Here
Mary
also for you
Joseph.
is Kalina.
Did you say
Yes,
Jesus?
that is Kalina. If you follow me on Instagram, I made a super cute post. Go
This
check
is
it out.
everybody's Valentine, isn't it?
Jesus, Mary Joseph, and
I
the
don't think
Lord.
I follow you on
That's right.
Instagram.
You don't follow me on Instagram? I follow
I-
you on Instagram, even though you have exactly like 3 photos.
That's commitment.
It's actually
I don't-
2. You fucking.
2? Oh,
Dunce.
you must have deleted one.
I
Yaman should
definitely
post all the
didn't.
art that he gets of him, but nobody
Oh,
he
yeah,
doesn't
I
because
should,
he doesn't
I should
care
definitely do
about
that.
artists.
Yeah.
Yaman, you've
that's a
had.
great
Oh,
idea.
wow, you actually have 2. One is from graduation.
I know, because those
Alex,
are
did you
the
get a
only 2
haircut?
things in my
I
life
did
that
get
are
a
worth
haircut.
Is it a more on top haircut?
More on top.
As
Yeah,
in-
pretty much.
Can I bend your head down, you stupid fuck?
I know. My webcam does not like.
Cover your massive head.
Yeah, it's literally my webcam is at the bottom of my computer screen, so you just look up at me like I'm a hulking giant, and you just see up my nose.
I don't know
That's
why,
such a
but I
bad
keep
design.
bending down as if I could see it.
That's such a horrible design. Yeah, I'd bang.
Give me like
I'd bang.
side and stuff. And like
You should get
whatever.
it longer on the top so you can have.
No, dude, I don't have the kind of hair like yours that can do that. There's one kid in my class who has the same hair type as me, I think, and he's doing that. He's growing it out like on the top, but all it ends up being is just this like greasy like front wavy thing that he
What kind
keeps
of hair
like
do
pushing
you
back.
are you talking about? What kind of hair do I have?
You have more just naturally like voluminous hair. I
Douchebag
truly
hair.
don't know.
No.
I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it. My hair is like pretty thin, but like heavy and straight at the same time.
Get a man
Yours
bun.
is a little more wavy. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's time I adapted the man bun. But
Grow a beard, please.
I've tried so many times, and I look awful. And
I've
it
never
also
seen
is
you with
really
a beard.
uncomfortable. If you looked at pictures from me from like Christmas 2016, I tried to grow out a beard. It's really uncomfortable. No one tells you that, but when you're first growing it out, the first like month, it's just itchy all the time. I don't know. I
It's
don't like
itchy.
it.
It also looks like shit for the first month.
Yeah, it looks really bad. So honestly, I just never bother to grow it out. I much prefer, slight stubble look, if anything. I don't want to give the time and commitment to grow out an entire fucking, I don't know, not Santa Claus beard, but a beard that would at least look good, like a Michael Fassbender beard or something.
I think that lack of commitment, or not commitment, but just lack of effort is what like got me starting to have a beard. Like I was too lazy to shave, and then like I was like, I'll shave later. Okay, I kept putting it off, right? And I was like, okay, I have to shave, but I was so lazy that I just shaved the neck because I didn't want to have a neck beard. I just didn't want to do all of it, and so I was like, okay, I guess I'm growing a beard now, and it
I've
just
tried
didn't work.
the shave the neck thing,
Mhm.
but I just think it looks weird. I know my friend does that, and it looks fine on him, but I think that's just because I'm used to how he looks, and he doesn't make it look cringy. But when I do it, I think I look like a goddamn idiot. I remember for Halloween or something, my friend group dressed up as Mystery Inc. from Scooby-Doo, and I was Shaggy. So to get the weird like chin stubble and like shitty mustache, I had like the perfect hair for it. I just shaved everything else but that. And then another time when I was shaving, I cut everything off but the hair on my neck to give myself a literal neck beard. and I took a photo real quick and
Okay.
like sent it to someone and then like shaved the rest of it off. I was not going to commit to it.
I shave my scrotum.
Do you actually?
Yes.
Like all the way down, or did you just trim it?
So you know how like the day after you, or like 5 minutes after you shave, like you'll get those hairs that are like super sharp, and
Yeah.
like if you touch it, it'll get like inflamed and like.
He's talking about his face. He's touching his face, audience, so that you understand. He's not talking
So-
about his scrotum.
That
anymore.
works the same way down there. So
It
it's
does,
like a
but-
day of awesome, and then the next day it's just like I have needles everywhere. It sucks. Why did I do that? But
Yeah,
then I do it again. I can't
It's
stop
just
myself.
you were getting really descriptive about how you touch right after shaving, and I wanted to make sure they understood that you were touching your face in the webcam, and you don't
also
like to
touch my
fondle your
wiener.
ball sack after you shave.
I touch my wiener too.
There's nothing
Touch all
wrong with
sorts
touching a
of
wiener,
parts.
Be comfortable
Okay.
touching your own ween. But that's like, I
I'm
try
so
to
comfortable.
shave my armpits a little bit because it makes deodorant more effective, because deodorant stops being effective if you have a ton of armpit hair like I do. I don't have a ton where it's, I'd say, a problem. Like, for guys, it's not really a problem. But I have enough where I have to sometimes apply more deodorant than, most people. And I try to shave down my armpits occasionally, but then it just fucking, like, stings like crazy, and I regret it all the time. But then if I put on too much deodorant, my armpits sting anyways, so I really can't win. My armpits are just stinging all the time. It's like I've got a hive of bees living under my arms.
Yaman, did you actually yell at some lady to get out of your room?
No, I was all nice. I was kidding in the group chat.
You're fucking lying. What did you say to her?
Why do you think it was a woman? First of all,
You said she.
and you called her a dumb cunt.
I never said she. I definitely said dumb cunt, and you just assumed that means she. You sexist asshole. I definitely said I'm gonna go tell the dumb cunt to get the fuck out of my room now.
That's true.
At no
Patrick
point
is
did
the
I say
real
she,
sexist
you
in this
sexist
I feel like
asshole.
I feel like that. I feel like if
Don't
there's
say
no
it.
gen, what?
Don't say it. Nope. I know what you're going. You should not say that.
I don't know what you're
In
saying,
general,
go for
when
it.
someone says that, they mean like a woman because it's been used
He
so
thinks
often.
all women are cunts.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Thank you. You can put that down in your BuzzFeed article and sell it to millions of people.
That's
But
it.
anyway,
They got Washington
people,
Post got
it's
you
it's
already.
it's got a female connotation. Same with bitch and stuff. Like, it's starting to change now. But like, yeah,
It's
I don't know.
it's inherently gendered, obviously.
I feel like
why
I
it's
never
such a
call
charged
anybody
term.
a cunt. Cunt is just like, it almost
Cunt's
feels like
more
a
of a fun word.
childish thing to say.
Cunt is the one bad word that I really avoid using, because I'm just like,
Why?
Because it feels so
gross.
vicious.
Yeah,
What do you
it
mean?
feels
It's
way
so-
too.
You're a cunt.
It's like it's like a word I would only use against like
Your mortal enemy.
someone that was trying to
gonna
kill me.
him?
Yeah, like if I was
absolutely
like
the
Ripley
opposite
at the
with
end
me.
of Aliens trying to kill the alien queen, I'd be
Yaman-
like, "Oh, you're a fucking cunt. I'm gonna kill you." Like that's
Last
the only
night
time I'd
you
ever
got
use that
so
word.
fucking angry on PUBG, and the last thing you said about this person was that you hope that like it was the
Whoa,
worst
wait,
fucking
relax,
thing ever.
relax.
And
Let's
I'm
not
not gonna
say
say
that on
exactly
stream,
what you
okay,
said, but you said
I was
you
really
called
angry.
him a cunt. You called him a cunt.
Hey, I
at
did
the
say
very
that.
end of
I'm
it.
sure I did.
It was very, very excessive, and I'm pretty sure you
I'll
only
have-
use that word when you're really angry.
So
You're
I'll
like
have,
PewDiePie when he says the N word when he's angry.
No. But okay,
No,
I didn't
I wouldn't say
say
that's the
anything
same
that
thing.
bad. It's different, very different. I just want the audience to know I don't say things
He
like
just
that.
said a bunch of curse words.
We're really ruining Yaman's reputation. Right now.
I'll ruin my own reputation. I don't need your help.
Do you guys play PUBG or Fortnite more?
I
PUBG?
play neither
Why?
because I don't know. I started playing PUBG originally, and then I don't know. I played like for a few hours, and then it was fun, but it was insanely glitchy, and I kind of lost interest. Then I played Fortnite for a little bit, and I was like, "This is okay, I guess." I'm just not into big 100-player free-for-all things. Free-for-all was never
It
my
feels so
my
small
thing.
though. It feels like it makes it smaller.
It's also not free for you don't have it doesn't have to be free for all. You teams, twos,
I know, but I don't
threes,
have people
fours.
to play with.
Okay, well that's fair enough.
I'm a lonely
I
boy.
played Fortnite while we were waiting for PUBG to come out on Xbox. We were like, this will hold us off. It was the culling, and then Fortnite happened, and then we hopped onto that, and then PUBG came out, and we just haven't touched Fortnite since. It's just been PUBG.
That's surprising because I know Fortnite was really big on consoles, and I think it's still
It was.
big.
I mean,
Whenever
we
I
played
see,
it. We
I see
got it.
tons
Still
of
super
people.
huge.
I see tons of people posting their
Memes.
whenever they get number one or whatever in Fortnite, and I'll never see that for PUBG.
Really?
There's
Yeah,
tons of
amongst
memes
the
for
people I
PUBG.
know.
It's always screenshots on the activity feed for me from PUBG saying
I get
chicken
both.
dinner and like
I mean,
It's like I get the frying pan on the ass thing a lot, and I also get like which weapons is all those memes where it's just like this is bad, this is good formats, where it's like the commonly perceived good weapon versus the weapon that is under the radar, the best weapon. I don't remember which ones they are. Scar or I don't remember.
In which game?
Fortnite.
Oh. Okay.
Then it's not called the Scar. I just recognize it because I played video games enough.
What is the double pump I hear so much about in Fortnite?
Double pump.
Do you guys? Yeah, the double pump. It's some sort of shotgun weapon.
It's the. Really there's no. I don't think there's a double pump. There's just a pump shotgun, and it does 90 damage. Like it's the most damage you can do with like a handgun. And most people, if you shoot someone like above the shoulders, then they're gonna die.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So it's like basically the whole joke is. I don't know if there's necessarily a joke. I just know that like the new joke is like some girl posts a picture of herself, and then the guys in the replies just make up a whole conversation that's regardless of her, like has nothing to do with her. Like, dude, you want to know something terrible? I got a headshot with a pump shotgun in Fortnite, and it did 9 damage. And then everybody's just like, "No, bro, they're so sad," and then just completely ignore the woman who took the picture. I don't know how this is relevant, but I see that a lot.
Those are good memes. I've just been playing the new Overwatch events, Year of the Dog, whatever, and just trying to get as many skins as possible. Cause
is that racist?
No, it's not.
No, Patrick was literally like, the internet is gonna erupt because of this. This is the worst thing in the world.
They already did it last
gets
year.
A hold of this. Like, I know it was not crazy at all. It wasn't even. I don't think anyone got offended by it.
Yeah, like
I'm sure somebody will.
I don't see any reason to. I mean, I don't know. I could imagine someone getting offended over it.
In the beginning, like even with the regular skins that people were getting, like with Forest, you get the Native American skin, and people were like, "You're just mixing and matching cool ideas from cultures." And then the Overwatch team was like, "Yep." And then they kept going and keeping more stuff.
Why you're saying that with an angry tone? It's like, yeah, that's what we're doing.
I don't know. I really enjoy the skins. They're all really cool. There's one for McCree that I kind of want, and I was just
the one for Genji looks fucking sick.
I just expected like. I had no problem with it. I love this game, and I love all the skins that come out for it. But like, when I see that there could be a slight possibility for outrage, I know that somewhere on the internet, someone is going to get mad. And there wasn't at all. And I was really surprised by that after a while. I agree with you, Yaman. Nothing happened, to my knowledge. But I'm sure Tumblr had something to say about it.
I agree.
Tumblr has something to say about it.
That's exactly what I said. You son of a bitch.
That's such a weak argument. Like you literally resorted to. I'm sure one person on the face of this planet will be offended by this. And it's
what's wrong with saying
you
that?
could literally say that about because you could say that about anything. You could literally sneeze and say somebody on the podcast is going to get offended.
How fucking dare you, you piece of shit! Don't you dare sneeze! Don't you know my father was killed in the Great Sneeze War?
Bitch, you cunt.
I'm deleting this whole podcast. I actually just got a breaking news update from the Washington Post on my phone saying that 17 people have been killed in the shooting in South Florida high school. Suspect identified as a former student. So
18-year-old.
Yeah. So I think we can use this to like vent our frustrations a little bit. It's obviously incredibly tragic and disgusting and vile and even more frustrating that shit like this keeps happening.
We don't have any. It feels like we have no power to make anything different.
Not at all. Every time
we write to our congressman every single time this happens. I do at least.
Yeah, every time
I call
people. Unless you got millions of dollars stapled to that letter, I don't.
And you're sitting in one of the congressman's chairs.
Like every time this happens, I'm just like, here we go again. This is the cycle.
That's what it feels like.
People are going to be like
being complacent.
People are going to say we got to do something about this. People are going to say I can't believe we don't do anything about this. And then
somebody's going to say, like, "Oh, how dare you make this political right now?" It's like, when else are we going to do it? Come on, please. Yeah.
Then other people are going to be like, "No, we don't need gun control. We need people with more guns." And we're just going to be like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?" Like,
and then the only people that really suffer. The only people that really suffer are the kids and the families.
Yeah, exactly. I saw a really good tweet that was like, I can't believe that the people arguing for more guns are just a bunch of guys who fantasize about having their one day to fulfill their good guy with a gun fantasy or something along those lines. And that like really hit a nail on the head that I hadn't particularly thought about, because that line of thinking where you're like, oh, if everyone has guns, they can just like defend themselves from, whatever threat there might be. But the fact that that person laid it out like that, I'm like, that makes sense, because I don't know if you guys have this thing where you kind of zone out and like, because you're extremely bored and you just think about something and you're just like, what if like a government like raided this building right now? How would I stop that? And then I'm like, okay, I'm Wolverine and I'm just going to shred them all. And like, you just kind of like play.
Wait. I completely missed the point. I don't know what you mean.
You're veering off very far.
I'm relating it to the fantasy people have to be like the savior or like the hero of the day. That's like this good guy with a gun fantasy / fallacy comes from.
People's houses being broken into. It was what was it? It was a middle school, high school. What was it?
It was a high
he's
school.
talking about people who think of themselves as like.
And I'm saying why those people are idiots, because those people aren't going to stand in a school guarding the school.
Yeah,
it's high school students.
Well, if you give the teachers have guns, and then to defend against the teachers, if they go wrong, we give the kids guns, and then we give the janitors guns, and then by the end of the day, everybody's holding a gun.
Everybody shot everybody.
Exactly. It's basically deterrence, and deterrence is not like nuclear deterrence. Already is one of the scariest principles ever, where everyone has nuclear weapons and like mutually
if one person has them, then
destruction is a
everybody
thing.
has to have them.
Yeah, which is awful and very shaky ground to stand on, because if someone
no ground to stand on.
fucks up, then everyone else goes down with him. Yeah. As opposed to, just no one having any sort of thing at all to hurt each other. That would be ideal.
People always say like, oh, the good guy with the gun, and they'll bring up some example of when I believe that there was a church shooting and then someone was shot.
I was right about to say.
And then someone will say, oh, well, good guy with the gun stopped the bad guys. Like, after 27 people died. Is that what it is worth to you? Owning a gun is 27 people died every single 2 weeks? Really?
It's crazy, because good guy with a gun isn't necessary if bad guy doesn't have a gun.
Exactly. And there's if there's a law to prevent guns happening and getting in the hands of evil people, then they'll just get them illegally. So it's like, can they get them as much as they can walking into a Walmart and buying one with $5?
It's hard to hear these stories. It's just frustrating when you hear, he got a gun in 5 minutes at his local gun store, even though he walked in saying, I'm going to shoot up a school, but he had a wad of cash in his hand. And the guy behind the counter was like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Billy McShotgun gave him 17 assault rifles because he was just like, and this is the best for killing people. And he placed it on the fucking table.
This is the best for murdering innocents. Here you go.
There's no other use for a gun. And people say, like, it's for hunting and gathering. It's just like, are you a caveman? Do you need that ever?
I bought an AK-47 so I could hunt me some
There's another line of thinking when it comes to gun rights or gun control that I want to like debunk right now, and it's that if we make all guns illegal, that bad people will still find a way to get them, and it will be harder for good people to get them. But what actually happens is when a commodity is made illegal, like guns, it becomes incredibly more expensive to purchase. So like on the illegal black market, quote unquote. So a gun that I think there have been case studies of other countries that have done this. I think Australia is probably the one I'm thinking of, where a semi-automatic rifle, like an AR-15, which we've seen used in like multiple shootings before, was like, I don't know, a few hundred or maybe a few like low thousands, maybe. I don't exactly know. Shot up in price on the illegal black market, and it cost tens of thousands of dollars to buy one. So that's the best kind of deter, really, because some crazy guy who wants to shoot up a place probably isn't in decent enough financial standing to do that, and
to get a $10,000 gun.
Or like you hear about like the was it the Las Vegas shooter? He had like
he was rich, wasn't
10 guns. I don't know if he was rich, but he had like
he's the one exception where he was actually well off,
to do.
His whole case is bizarre.
I was saying he had like 10 guns and like 10,000 rounds or something fucking ridiculous.
He was in a hotel room,
Yeah, he was carrying fucking...
He was able to buy all of that stuff, and I don't know.
Guns as a thing have all, like, people call me a pussy and shit, just because like I get freaked out when I see a cop, and it's not because cops are evil or anything. I mean, there's some bad cops. That's a whole different thing. But like,
it's a whole different can.
Having a gun makes you scary to me. I don't care who you are. You could be the nicest person on the planet. There is a physical possibility in that situation that a gun could go off and someone could die. You could erase a person with something that you can carry in your hand. That freaks me out. There's no conversation you can have, Billy Badass, about how, I know how to handle a gun and I can do gun kata like I'm John Wick, and I could disarm someone from 2 feet away. I could, use my telekinesis and remove the gun from his hand. There's nothing you can tell me that would make me feel safer around a gun. I've shot guns before. I mean, my family's from the South. I know what a gun is. I can use guns, but like, it's so much power. It's so much power to instantly end someone just with something so small you can put it in the palm of your hand. People treat them like toys. They really do. Like, I need 17 machine guns, and I need 100 shotguns in my house to defend against the velociraptors.
My cousin's husband was at our house once, and he was showing us a pistol he had, and he spun it around his finger.
Oh my god!
And it went off, and it like hit the ground, thankfully. But he spun it around his finger. And I guess he thought the safety was on, or that it wasn't loaded, or I don't remember what he said, but a round went off.
That is
were there kids in
my worst nightmare.
No, there was just my parents and him were in the room, and I heard it from my room.
So he spun it, and the barrel probably aimed towards him a couple of times.
Yeah,
he almost killed himself.
He almost killed anyone.
Well, obviously that action that he was doing is fucking stupid. That particular action, spinning a gun around with the trigger on your finger, is so fucking McCree. Stupid. But
yeah.
God,
I completely forgotten about that until this conversation. That's kind of crazy.
That's insane.
That's so incredibly frustrating to hear. I remember when I was in middle school and I was friends with this kid in my neighborhood, and I would go over to his house, and one time I saw a handgun just on the kitchen islands, and I was like, what the fuck? And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's my parents. Don't touch that." And I'm like, "What?" That's like the only preventative
thing. Did you have
thing.
any instinct to go over and touch it?
Me, a little bit.
A little bit, right?
As like a 12-year-old, yeah. I was like, I want to poke it.
I might touch that gun, and it's in the room with me. Someone could die now. That's a possibility.
That was like the scary thought. I was just like, that's weird that it's lying there and that anyone could get to it, including me right now, because I kind of want to like poke it, like, and that's terrifying to me.
I remember another time, one of my older, not cousin, second cousin, I guess. He was like, hey, "Can you go to my room and get this thing off the top of my dresser or something like that?" I don't remember what I was getting for him, and I like climbed up on a chair and like moved a bunch of papers and whatnot, and it was a gun just like right on top of the dresser. That wasn't what he wanted me to get for him, but it was just, I was just like, wow. I wasn't
go get
one. What did you get? The shotgun that was right above that.
Go get my rocket launcher, will ya?
God. You're perusing some weapons. No, Jesus Christ.
What if it's like one of those things that like, it was a trap set up and there was like something tied to a string that as soon as you move it, it would pull the trigger and just kill you.
And I just missed it. I didn't pull the thing. I didn't pull the right thing.
It's like a fucking Home Alone situation.
Something that I read about this most recent shooting that just happened today, I believe it was today or last night or whatever.
Today, yeah.
That these news crews were pushing in on and videotaping the kids that were crying and holding their parents. I fucking hate press that does that. Why would you ever do that? Get the fuck away from those people. That is like the most awful, poor taste thing you could ever do in your life. Recording people who are like, they were this close to death and are seeing family members with blood stains on their shirts because the other classmates got shot to death. Go get your fucking Pulitzer somewhere else, please, for the love of God.
Yeah, this is my unique journalistic perspective. So whenever people complain about journalism practices and stuff, I'm like, I really like go back and forth with it and think about it. I think I agree with you. I'd really have to like examine the context for, if it's just B-roll of like people crying and stuff, I think, yeah, that feels
from a distance. Yeah, I understand. Like you're setting up a tripod, and then in the background of the person with the microphone, there's some people crying.
You're getting a shot of the scene. Is one way. That's fine.
Right
but
next to
some people.
When you
shove the camera in, yeah, that's not cool.
Unless I I think if you're zooming in for like dramatic effect to like capture these people's like grief and
that's,
sorrow, that's
they know
really
that people
shitty.
are going to tune in for that because they love seeing that people are like.
Well, yeah, that's the other
they're morbidly
unfortunate
interested
thing.
in things like that. So obviously they're going to get footage of that, or else they're not going to get any ratings tonight on News 4 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's the unfortunate reality is that the things that people complain about the most, we only have ourselves to blame because that's what people want to see, and like we have the numbers to like back that up. But I think interviewing victims is also fine as long as you obviously get their consent. Which, talk to any reporter, they're never going to interview someone who doesn't consent to being interviewed, which is why I get kind of mad seeing videos of people being like, how dare like they just go and put a mic in this person's face. I'm like, you have no idea like what happened like before this scene was set up. Like they always ask people like, oh, would you mind like telling us what happened? It's okay if you don't want to, whatever. I've even seen interviews get cut short because the person was like too
tearing up and
emotional,
like,
and the reporter's just like, don't worry, we're gonna cut it here, we're gonna move on from this, just like out of their own like good judgment. So it's really like a case by case thing, but it's always just about consent and like using your best judgment like while it's happening. So
that I don't know, maybe this is like the same thing with like Logan Paul's whole recording a dead body thing. There's no situation in which I think like even the people who are reacting to his video with the dead body cut and making money off of that, like anything that you're doing where you're sort of manipulating the situation to get something for yourself, something so tragic and terrible as that, it just feels gross. Anything that you're doing, no matter what, and it's probably not logical just to never record anything terrible that ever happens, but it feels gross if you're making money out of it. And I know that nobody could ever make any money in a news organization if they never recorded anything terrible happening, because that's what people want to see. I understand that, but like,
I mean, it's not even that that's what
gross.
people want to see, and
it is.
That's obviously definitely true. That's definitely true. But it's just that that's the news.
It happens a lot.
It's the news, and you have to show the news. Like it's just
totally
as simple as that.
But there's ways to go about it. Like with the news stations that run more ads during moments like these, those people are scum. The people I don't know if you'll notice, it's been a while since I watched news. This is something my English teacher used to point out, that whenever there's like a tragic event happening, it'll be an ad every 45 seconds. You go to commercial.
Yeah.
I notice just like a shit ton of ads all the time in general. And this is something I'd really have to look more into research-wise because I'm not 100% sure about this. But I'm like pretty sure in most cases, ad spots and ad deals are locked in pretty ahead of time. So,
but you're saying it doesn't make you feel any kind of animosity towards the news network when they cut from people crying over dead bodies to Kellogg's cereal ads?
I mean, no, it obviously like feels shitty and it's an awful juxtaposition.
And so you can see why it would be terrible to have more ads on a time when they knew more people are coming to watch the show.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is that...
for the reason that there's tragedy.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that I'm only arguing the point that I don't think there might not be more ads than you think, because that stuff is like planned out ahead of time.
I think it's just like a trick,
so it's not like
you're absorbing it faster because of how terrible is what it is, and so
I mean,
you think that the time
maybe
is going by
I always
faster.
just perceive ads to take for fucking ever, always, and I think there's like
that's
too many ads in general. Yeah, so
people do.
Whatever, that might just be people's confirmation bias, but for the large part, I don't think producers just like, oh, we got hot breaking news, got to throw in 3 more ad spots for Viagra, Kellogg's, and Toyota while we can. Like, I don't think it works like that, because you're already guaranteeing people their allotted time slot, and you can't, like, TV broadcasting is incredibly tight and time oriented, so it's almost impossible to like add more shit in where it's not supposed to be, is what I'm saying.
How do they have breaking news then? How do they have I'm just getting this now?
You can take away stuff and like move it, or like talk to that advertiser like individually. It's like a lot of complicated behind the scenes work, but taking away stuff is easier than adding to a block that is like finite. It's like it's easy to take something out of a box that's full and replace it with something else than try to put more shit in the box that's already full, if that like analogy works.
Do you think there was another recent gun-related event with Gavin Free and Meg Turney? Their house was broken into. Just to really quickly wrap it up, their house was broken into. Guy went into the house and he was infatuated with Meg or something and stalked her. And he was just like, "Oh, I can't find him." So he fired a shot in the house and then went back outside into the driveway, got into his car, but the cops were already there because Gav and Meg both called the cops, and they blocked him in and then they shot him to death. So that happened to them.
Did you
And
mention
there was this?
Did you mention they were hiding in a closet?
Yeah, I didn't say that very well.
That's what they were
just wanted
doing
to make it-
while the guy was coming in.
Yeah, they hid when they heard some breaking glass or something.
Mm-hmm.
They're both fine. Nothing happened to them. The police killed the guy who had the gun. Do you think that I asked a couple of people this like over the time that I read the story? Do you think in that situation, I know that there's this whole thing of not wanting guns in the country, but he was annoyed that he didn't have one. I know that sounds really gross, but
Wait,
like,
did Gavin
you know what
say
I mean?
that?
No. Do you think he was in that at all in that situation? Kind of scared that he didn't have any way to
In
defend
that
himself?
moment,
Yeah.
maybe. But now that
And
we
the
have
grand idea.
But now that we can look back and know that the results were what they were, if he had a gun and he had engaged in a gunfight, we don't
He
know
might
what
have
the
died.
outcome could have been.
I know.
We don't
I'm just saying.
But in that moment, maybe, yeah. I'm sure he felt horribly helpless hiding in a closet.
I think. See, this is the thing, and I knew we were going to have this discussion right after this one because
It's related.
as I was talking about how I think gun control is incredibly necessary and ideally there would be no guns in this country.
Yeah.
In a
No guns existing
situation
on the
like
planet.
this, I would definitely want a gun.
Exactly.
And I can
That's all
definitely
I'm
see.
saying.
I instantly like see like, oh, this is what it is to like love the Second Amendment. I guess I don't know.
I only point that out because there were people taking advantage of that situation with them and saying, "See, this is exactly why you should have guns because crazy people come to people's houses with guns, and then I want to shoot them with my gun." That is not. If there were no guns, there would be no situation in order to defend yourself. There would be no like need to defend yourself if the person who walked in didn't have the gun. That's the point. I'm just saying, like, the only reason I wanted the gun in that situation where I'm being attacked is because they had one. That's it.
There's an argument there. You know, we shouldn't have guns. We should have guns. This and that. The argument I don't get is why people believe they have a right to buy automatic
AK-47.
weapons and like huge like. I don't know. Like, I don't think there's even, like, I don't know how we're not able to compromise here. I don't know why it's either I should be able to own as many of whatever gun I want, or we should not have a single weapon ever in this country. There's like, it seems like there's no logical in-between for people.
I'll be the gun owner, the fanatical gun owner, and you present me with your argument.
The middle, like
I will argue on their side in this situation. I'm pretending to be that person right now. Go ahead.
There's no need for assault rifles. If
there isn't?
What if
the government turns evil and I need to defend my family against 69 soldiers that come try to kill them? Huh?
An
What
assault
about that?
rifle will do you no good.
Are you saying I won't be able to defend myself against my family?
Against your family? Why are you
Are
going
you
up against
fighting
your
your
family?
I'm not against my family. Shut up. Stop trying to get me with your liberal logic, you sons of bitches. But
Oh man, I screenshotted a person that reminded me of when you make that voice and say a libtard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah,
to
continue.
this is an interesting line of thinking, Yaman. But I just want to clarify real quick that automatic weapons are illegal, or a civilian cannot purchase automatic weapons. You can buy semi-automatic weapons and semi-automatic assault rifles like the AR-15.
Why
and
anything
stuff.
more than a pistol?
Yes.
That's where I'll
That's
leave
where I
it.
was gonna go. Where I don't think people should have.
You're asking
More
people
than-
who are so embedded, like almost religiously, into the cult of guns to be reasonable. And that is never going to work. Asking them to, like, step it down a few notches. I know that in Australia there was the, after there was that huge tragedy when, I don't know how many people died, 20 or 25. It was a lot then. They had the Australian buyback program in addition to we're making guns illegal as wholesale. We're not doing that anymore because there was a huge push from I think both sides of the aisle that this is terrible.
Because
Yeah, it was a
makes
non-controversial
sense. Because it made
issue
sense.
in
Fucking,
Australia.
I know it makes no sense that this is controversial. When you see a pattern, when you see a trend, a bad one, You change something. You try to alter the pattern.
No, you double down,
feels, what? It just feels like common sense.
You double down.
It
You
feels
give
like
everyone a gun. You give everyone a nuke.
The thing, and I do want to say that I think it's a little too late to fix America's gun violence problem, because I do think it's a cultural thing as well. So there's two different issues here. One is mental illness, obviously. And I wish when conservatives said, this isn't a guns issue, it's a mental health issue. Okay, I agree with you. I wish you would. I wish you would actually, walk the talk and fund some mental health, programs. But they'll never do that. But another thing is that even if you just go back like 300, 200, however many fucking years, to the American Revolution and just like the founding of this country, it's inherently violent and like spirited and rooted in that violence. Like, we were born from the blood of the Revolutionary War. And I'm not saying like, oh, like, fuck the founders for killing all those like British people or whatever. Like, no, the Revolutionary War was like,
I'll say fuck the founders.
Great, whatever. I mean, fuck the founders for owning slaves and stuff. But
there you go. That's it.
I can't judge people from like 300 years in advance. It feels weird, but whatever. That's totally besides.
Watch, I'll do it right now. No,
totally besides the point. It's just America has just a violent history of where we fight for things all the time, and guns are kind of like inherently part of our history, and we can't get rid of that. And that's why there will always be people defending the Second Amendment, which was drafted back in the Bill of Rights. We'll always have people defending that and defending it as part of the cultural institution that is this country.
Yes, but there are a lot of horrible things that have been historically part of our culture that we have changed. You have a very like hopeless tone when you're talking about it, but these are things that with time will change. It's going to take longer than it should, but it will. This is how we felt about a lot of things, about gay rights, about segregation, about everything.
Black people.
And it takes longer than it should.
It takes
but
a lot
it
of
changes.
time.
I mean, Yaman, I
so
really
long.
appreciate your optimism, and I
Bruh,
want to agree with you.
are you saying it's impossible?
No. Okay, hear me out.
That sounds like what you're saying.
To be honest, I almost think it's impossible, because
it's very daunting.
For the
I'll
only
give you that.
the only fact that all the issues you brought up, Yaman, you have a great point, but there's one caveat, and that the right to own guns is enshrined into the Constitution, meaning it could never fully go away. We can regulate the shit out of it to a reasonable degree. We, like, as you said, just limiting it to handguns. I think that's smart. Increasing background checks and, mental wellness programs. That's all great. I'd love and support all of that. But if you want to make guns completely illegal in this country, just like they did in Australia, it's never going to happen. Unless you pass another amendment to outlaw the Second Amendment, which is theoretically possible. It's been done. Amendments can be made to counter other amendments. That's how Prohibition was repealed. But
I don't think he's saying total where we can't do guns anymore.
Progress.
That's what I'm saying.
Positive.
We can make progress. I agree with you. We can make progress.
You made it sound like
you sounded
so
hopeless.
sad.
You were like, why try?
I'm not. Oh, I was coming at it from the angle of like, you want to like outlaw, like get rid of guns in this country entirely. It's too late. That's what I was like thinking of.
Okay.
I really wish I could snap my fingers and make the ability to manufacture firearms moot so that people will go back to fighting with swords. But
I think about that constantly. I think about if I had a time machine. I think besides the obvious ones of like going back to kill Hitler and yada yada, I would go back in time and somehow prevent the Second Amendment.
Someone would eventually make it again. It's not. Guns aren't like someone invented the gun and then the gun was a thing forever. It's just like a little bit of something that has been expanded, like artillery weapons, missiles, stuff like that. It's just like people would come up with something else. And I'm not saying that someone would replace the gun with something that's exactly like the gun. It's just like there's a difference between trying to make guns less available to awful people who are intending on killing people and deleting violence from the human brain. It's never going to go that route. But like people make it sound like almost kind of like what you said, almost worse. They say it's like, oh, Australia was a fluke. They're just a bunch of pussies over there, and their lives are terrible because they don't have guns. I'm surprised they all haven't hung themselves because of how terrible their lives are without firearms. It's like, I'm sure that they have terrible lives because they can't shoot things all the time. What a fucking awful life that must be.
Yeah, and I mean, it's difficult. It's interesting because there are a lot of pockets in this country where gun culture is a huge thing, and people, it's just like an accepted thing of everyday life. Like, I'm pretty sure there was an Anthony Bourdain episode where he hangs out with a bunch of people in Texas or whatever, and they just like shoot guns all day. And I love Anthony Bourdain so much, but that episode just like didn't rub me the wrong way or anything. It was just like, this is very eye-opening that, you know, from where we live, you know, in the East Coast, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, whatever, guns are kind of like taboo. Like, police have guns, like the military has guns, and that's it. Like, civilians can have guns, but I don't expect anyone to be fucking wearing that shit on their hip outside.
You know how, like, in the UK, I'm not sure if it's everywhere, but in, like, London and England, there's, like, strict policies about guns. And a lot of the time when someone in the United States, there's a shooting, and then someone on the left side or someone will say, like, we need to stop. We need to make, you know, stronger gun control like they have in England. And then some, you know, hick will stand up and goes like, well, their knife crime is through the roof. It's just like, what do you want? Like, do you want people to stop being violent just because we put something on paper? That will not happen. But we can change the ability to delete someone with your fingertip. You know, we can take that away. Why not do that? It's not like the most impossible thing you can think of.
I'd much rather have a knife crime problem than a gun problem.
It's exactly
it's like
right.
it's like when someone's like, oh, but he wouldn't have done that with a knife, and then some dumbass rebuttals with like, oh yeah, well, what about cars? That cars kill people all the time. What about what about this and that? I mean, I'm sure if cars killed as many people as guns did, we'd start doing something about cars, and we'd make more regulations and roads.
The way we regulated cars.
God.
I mean, the thing is that it's a simple matter of fact. Yeah, you can say, well, they'll just kill people by other means.
Yeah,
but they won't be able
as many.
to fucking kill as many. Like, the Las Vegas shooter would not have killed anyone from where he was. Like, what is he gonna do? Throw fucking knives into the crowd and like hope he hits someone from there? This isn't fucking Modern Warfare 2. He's not gonna throw a throwing knife across the map and fucking like, I don't know, try to hit someone. And like, what, people are gonna just run people over all day? Like, cars aren't even meant to be killing vehicles. They're meant for transportation, and yeah, obviously someone can abuse that to hurt people, but once a car hits like a wall, like, it's done. Like, there are just like limits to these things and limits to this logic, where if we take away a machine specifically built for killing and killing a lot very quickly, we'll see a reduced number of deaths overall. Like, a mass knife attack or a mass like vehicle attack is awful and terrible, and I wish we could get rid of them all entirely. But imagine if that same guy had a gun, he could have done a lot more harm than he would have.
I hate when people are like, when you bring up something like an idea like that, and they're like, well, it's not going to get rid of the problem entirely. But we don't have to do that. That's impossible. Why is reducing the problem not good enough? It's like, oh, well, if we take away assault rifles, they'll just kill people with pistols. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's a step forward. That's fine. Why is that not okay? They're like, well, no, they'll still stab somebody with a pencil. Were you going to outlaw pencils? Like,
I'll fucking outlaw pencils. Fuck pencils. We should all be using
fuck
pens.
Pencils.
So
I want to bring up, because you brought up England. I was talking to a viewer who's in Canada, and she had a bomb threat at her school. It didn't seem like anything serious, and she was like all worried about it, and I was like, no one's gonna blow up your school. And I made, I guess, like a poor taste joke saying at worst it'll get shot up, and she said, no, I live in Canada. Both are pretty unlikely. And it just hit me that she didn't even consider a school shooting because she lives in Canada, and that's just not normal, because it's
not
only
weather
normal
for
here.
them.
It's just normal here.
Yeah, exactly.
It just seems so outlandish to her, and that blew my mind.
It's becoming so common. Like, how long did we even talk about the one today? Because we're so comfortable with moving on, because it's something that happens so often. It's insane. People should not be dropping like flies on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis. It should not happen yearly that this many people drop dead because of some psycho who got his hands on a machine gun. I don't even know what kind of gun the person had.
always reminds me of the Onion article headline that was like,
Oh yeah.
no way to prevent this,
This
says only
only
nation
country.
where it happens constantly or something like
Yeah,
that.
no, I love that. They tweet that out all the time. But yeah, I mean, we've just been through so many of these at this point that I just don't know. It's sad that I'm becoming desensitized, like just immensely desensitized.
There's nothing you can change.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't fake emotion.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the tweet I saw it was like, we've become desensitized to this, so we're not even really affected by it. The only people affected are the kids and the families, and that's where I got what I said earlier from.
Yeah.
You remember when President Obama cried after Sandy Hook?
Yeah, and then Fox
Yeah, like a
News shit
normal,
on him for it
compassionate
and said he was
human being.
weak.
Fucking
Pretty sure our
come on.
president now would just fall asleep or something at the podium.
I went and checked to make sure he tweeted because I wasn't sure if he would tweet about it.
At least he did that. What a hero.
It definitely. I mean, I can't. Obviously, I can't. This is just me. It didn't seem like he was the one that tweeted it. It didn't sound like he
probably
normally
wasn't him.
sounds. But again, I'm just saying that. That's just what I think.
All
I
right.
had to draw a bunch earlier, and I'm pretty sure they all fucking suck. My little brother he plays D&D with his friends, and he was just like, "Can you draw landscapes and maps for us to use as reference?" And I was just like, "I don't. Where do you want me to draw?" And I'm scared of my little brother because he's always angry. And he like showed me all these like notes and detailed stuff, and I was like, I didn't know this was like his whole obsession. And he like got me into D&D, and now I'm drawing all of the landscapes and stuff for his little town. It's amazing.
That's pretty cool. Let's move
Pretty
on.
cool,
We
easy.
have a lot of fan mail that we should probably
yeah.
get through.
Can we not read all of them in one dude? Like
No, in one dude.
One dude.
That's what
the
we
fuck
call our
does that
episodes
mean?
now.
that almost sounds like I intended that as a short version of the podcast. But if it wasn't a fuck up, then yeah.
That's good. It was a good fuck up. All right. I'm just gonna. Did you
starred
star the
first
ones
one
that you? Oh, you starred the first one.
just to mark it?
That one's kind of
Not all of them
Why
are
didn't you
great.
If I don't
Why
like,
didn't
if
you-
I don't
yeah, why
like
didn't
one,
you
can I
just
skip
delete it. You can
Yeah,
delete
why
it.
didn't you just
They'll be
star the
best.
ones that were worth saying?
That's
Why
true.
didn't you
Because I
just-
didn't. I had a bunch to go through on my own thing.
All right. Elon Musk, alien, stoner, or just weird?
I think he's fucking cool. I
I
saw
love
on
Elon
Reddit.
Musk.
He just seems like a Tony Stark character. Like
Very
I
much.
showed-
Very much.
on Reddit, I just realized in r/movie details, he was in the when Iron Man, Tony Stark and Pepper go to the race.
Just got a notification on Xbox.
I did.
Did you see it in his glasses?
Yes, I heard it.
Damn.
I didn't at all. The Xbox isn't even on.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
Tur-
There's
turn
no
the-
notifications here.
Turn the laptop
can't.
right now. You can definitely turn the laptop.
Here.
You fucking liar.
so stupid. I hate you.
I would have been able to see it.
is off. I'm plugged in like to 6 different things, Yaman. I swear
It's on.
not
It's definitely on.
It's not. I swear it's not.
What was that?
Why would I
sound?
make
heard
that
it.
up?
I know
Why
I
is it
heard
so
it
important to you?
because I heard it.
It's not. It's not on.
Continue.
not.
Whatever. Continue. Fucking stupid. You're lying.
You're a liar. Why would you hear that?
You're a liar. Why
Anyway,
would I hear it? Because I heard
shut the
it.
fuck up. Anyway, Elon Musk was sitting at like one of the tables.
Wait a minute.
and-
I can see the TV on in your glasses.
It's definitely
TV
on.
is
I
not-
could see it on.
Here, I haven't touched a thing, so
Or maybe
he's,
it's
he's
my-
turned
or
it off
maybe
at
it's.
this point.
Oh wait, it might be
He's
his like
turned it off at
laptop
this point.
you can
reflection.
see my hands.
It might be the laptop reflection. Actually, false alarm.
The thing, my remote is even behind the Coke can over here. I'm sending it to the both of you fucking idiots.
The People versus Patrick.
I
Charles
definitely
on
heard it,
American
and I'll
Crime
hear it
Story.
in the
It's
playback,
not-
and I'll hear it. How do you timestamp? When do I?
I sent it to Yaman because I don't have Alex on Snap.
58
Okay.
minutes.
What do you mean you don't have me on Snap,
58 minutes.
Yeah.
Patrick? I have you on Snapchat.
Do you enjoy the pictures of my face that I take?
No, not at all. Patrick,
Okay.
how do you not have me added on Snapchat?
I don't know.
Same way I
happen.
don't have you added on Instagram.
There you go.
Patrick, I'm gonna.
Anyway,
Snapchat
what
you
I was
right
saying
now.
was,
Tell me if you got it.
fuck, what was I saying? Anyway, Robert Downey Jr. is like walking into the thing that's like outside the racetrack. It's like this restaurant, and Pepper's like talking to somebody, and then Robert Downey Jr. walks up and he says like, "Who's this?" And then Pepper says like, "This is Mr. Musk." And then he goes just like, "Oh, I heard about those new engines that you're creating." And Musk says it's like, "Yeah, I've got a new idea for an electric plane." And he says, "Oh, really? Well, then we'll get it done, won't we?" And then they both laugh, and then he walks away, and I'm just like, "It's Elon Musk!" It's so cool.
That fight scene on the racetrack is one of my favorite fight scenes. It's so cool. Seen. I love his fight. suit briefcase thing that he like steps on and then like it becomes his suit.
It's so dope.
Cool.
Yeah, it just makes you want to be that character so much. It's
so like, bad. Or when he's, I don't know which movie this happens in, but when he's like falling and then the suit is like coming together piece by piece.
There were
as
a couple
he's falling
times
through the air.
There was one in Iron Man 3 and then in Avengers when he jumps out of he gets thrown out of the tower by Loki. He says, Jarvis, deploy the new suit, and then the new suit comes after him. Yeah.
Well, not like the whole suit, like
little pieces,
piece by piece. Oh, okay, yeah, that shit's dope.
In Iron Man 3, I feel like there was a little too much time outside of the suit. I really like that movie,
but I like it. I mean, that's like the whole point of it is to like dissect that character without the suit. That's the whole.
I already knew who the character was. Everybody knows who Iron Man is now.
Yeah, and I fucking love it.
He's a bachelor, and he's kind of plays it off the cuff, but he's got a heart of gold. It's like I get that.
But it was to see if he could really like still do heroic shit without it, and he did. He was very inventive. He like used those light bulbs and shit, and it was cool. I loved to see him, Tony Stark, be innovative in other ways without the suit. I thought that was awesome.
Well, I thought it was like Tony Stark's whole character is that he's hyper intelligent, and if given the opportunity, he can make something out of anything, like MacGyver. He's like the ultimate MacGyver, and his Iron Man suit is just him with access to the most resources. This is his penultimate creation. This is his like, this is my best. Like, this is the best I can do. And those little cherry bombs he had, this is like, with scraps, I can make this stuff. Like bombs and an electric shock gauntlet. It was like, yeah, I liked all that stuff.
Right? That's
from
Iron Man 1. Since he first scrapped up that suit of armor in the terrorist camp or wherever he was.
I think after Iron Man 1, like all those, you remember that Johnny Depp movie where he like turns into Data after he dies? Transcendence.
Oh yeah,
there was like a whole slew of movies after Iron Man 1 that was just based on like having a charismatic character who's super smart, and it was just like banking off people's interest in like technology and just all that stuff that people that is like, no, there's no interest in that, that's for nerds. But then Tony Stark made it cool. Anyway, what's the next question? We just talked about something completely irrelevant.
Wait, I wanted to make a point about Tony Stark real quick. If he was born today, I think before he ever starts his business empire, he's definitely one of those YouTubers that makes like plasma metal lightsabers or something crazy, like those fucking awesome engineering YouTube channels, or they're just like, today we're going to show you how to make a homemade flamethrower with like all these expensive metals and equipment that you'll never ever actually be able to buy.
Yeah.
Dude, I watched a video on how to make a little rail gun, and it's like...
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
So
he would be the ultimate...
Like,
he'd be the MKBHD of, like, engineering YouTube.
Sorry,
yeah,
what was his name?
I love MKBHD.
MKBHD?
MKBHD, the guy who does...
Oh, okay, that just rolls off the tongue.
Marquise Brownlee.
I like that. It's
Who
catchy.
came up with that? I want my name to be 17 numbers in different order.
It's his phone number and his name,
Social security number,
letters and numbers.
Okay.
Next question or comment.
Can you delete the one that you just read, please?
I don't know how this fucking.
Oh, good idea. Is this the Krusty Krab?
Nice.
Get out of here.
Delete that one.
Someone just said Iceland, maybe.
Hey,
I don't know what that means.
Remember how you were like, if I don't like him, I'm gonna skip him. You should stay true to your words.
Instead of just reading them off the top.
This is a really in-depth one about tipping culture in America.
What is
I think
tipping?
I want to save
the fuck is that?
Like tipping.
Oh, tip like a restaurant.
I think I want to save this for next episode because we're like I want to talk about. I think we can talk about this for a long time. So and I want to do this like justice. So I'm gonna start that.
Okay.
Sorry, Ashley. Oh, okay. This is from Petite, and it's perfect because this is about relationships and it's Valentine's Day. I don't know how serious your podcasts are. I'm a relatively new follower, so I apologize for my colloquial language used. Question: how the fuck do I speak to guys? Context: I can speak to girls I like fine. I'm bisexual and I flirt really well with them. I get the straight girls blushing because my compliments are smoother than spreading cream cheese on a bagel. But with guys, I'm genuinely stumped. I can never tell if they're actually interested or not. A lot of guys I know shoot their shots with tons of girls, so nobody knows if they're being genuine. Please help. Aaron from Scotland.
This person said they were a guy?
No, it's a girl. Aaron.
Oh.
I don't know if
I
that
really don't know. I
info is
feel like it's hard to...
I can't believe we have a listener from Scotland. That's so cool.
Guys tend to, like... I don't know. I just sort of... No matter who it is, it's just sort of like I just try to make jokes, and if they laugh, then that works.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter. I don't know.
That's usually
say
a good sign, yeah.
I would say that, and I really try to emphasize this with girls that complain about, not being able to get guys or whatever. Guys are like the dumbest and like most straightforward people.
Dude, they're conniving and freaky.
Okay, some are, but if you're talking to like a normal person, someone that you know is just a normal person and you're just shy about talking to them, it's really simple to just be like, hey, I like you. Would you like to go out on a date?
Being straightforward, absolutely.
Be straightforward, 100%. Don't play games because they will absolutely misread your intentions. And they'll be like, I guess she just wants to be friends. I don't understand.
Is that a nice guy?
No, I don't know. But just be as direct as possible. I think Patrick made a very good point about just jokes. A lot of guys
just be yourself, honestly. Don't try to be something you're not, because you will not be able to maintain that charade.
Yeah.
No matter what. And even if you pretend to be something else and they like that person, eventually, don't you want to stop being that person and be yourself and be comfortable?
Yeah. And if they don't like,
I don't know if you're intending on fucking or
it's
just
also,
like going on a date, whatever.
It's more satisfying when they like you for you. You feel it yourself. You're like,
I feel like you earned
this person likes me.
I mean, this is kind of like stereotypical advice, but it's
pretending to be for
stereotypical for a reason, because you shouldn't fucking pretend to be some sort of like macho amazing person to get like a partner or significant other. Like, that's just dumb. It is not going to work out in the long term. So just
how to talk to them.
I think that's the specific question, because I kind of struggle with that.
I would do English,
just like how to talk to strangers and stuff.
In my experience, I know that this isn't sexist at all, but girls tend to be more reserved in the presence of a guy, because there's like a good possibility that the guy is just trying to get something out of him. So you sort of have to, I don't know, be nicer than you would, which is kind of like how you should treat everybody, obviously. But like, I don't know how to broadcast like the way I do things. With guys almost have nothing at stake, because they sort of, have the advantage in that situation. I know it seems like guys are just like, oh, I don't know what she's thinking, but what she's thinking is pretty simple. She, you can ask her questions and she'll answer them, unless she hates you. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
unless you make a joke about breast milk and then.
God,
no,
don't do what
Yaman
does.
Milk.
Don't make jokes.
I didn't.
About
No,
breast milk.
that's not me. That's not me. This is something that happened.
Just
to
a guy,
Patrick last night.
No.
Oh, interesting. There's I guarantee you the guys you're talking to are probably way more shy about talking to you than you are to them.
I've never really found that.
Or maybe they're equally as shy. Who fucking knows?
Well, maybe.
Like, they're probably just as like, shit, what do I say to this girl, as you are saying, like, shit, what do I say to this guy? Like, maybe even make light of that if you want to. Like, be pretty, like, open about it, be candid. That's the word I'm looking for, candid. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for like conversation starters,
don't use those ever.
Ask them about their backgrounds. What are their interests? What do they like? I don't know.
If you're stumbling over something you want to say because there's nothing you have, like if you're seeing somebody across the way and you're like, I want to go talk to them, don't try to like come up with a line, because if you trip over it or you get nervous and then you like don't finish it, it's just going to be weird.
Yeah.
I feel like we're coaching a person in an earpiece in like a movie.
Yeah.
We're confusing them.
If you also physically trip, that's bad.
They have three voices coming out of one head, so they're trying to focus with the girl.
We're all like contradicting each other.
Grab her hand. Now don't grab her hand. Now walk away. Now say she's pretty. Now don't do that. No,
do a
walk
jumping
away.
jack.
Now
Do a
breathe
jumping
and then
jack.
breathe
Guys
twice.
like athletic people.
I hope that helps, Aaron. We're just a couple of bumbling idiots.
I hope that helps. Good luck.
Have you guys ever tried to woo a guy?
Me?
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I know you do, just to like fucking get alcohol through them, which I think is like.
No, I don't.
Patrick, you're
He
always
doesn't.
on Tinder
He's not
just
old
looking
enough
for
to get
plugs.
alcohol. He would never.
I'm also
do that.
wait, how am I? 20? I would never do such a thing.
There was this is a fucking intense one. I don't know if
Oh.
It's just, but it's like so nonchalantly presented. This is from Grace. She says, "Hi, thoughts on abortions? Question mark. Thanks."
Huh. I think it should be open
Dope.
and available to whenever you
Recommended, 10 out of 10. Go for
want.
it.
Go for it, yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
no?
I mean, yeah, I'm like pro-choice, so
Jeez.
like I'm not gonna say though that it's like, if I want to talk about this seriously, I'm not gonna say that it's like an incredibly easy decision that you should do, without a second thought. Abortions
It's
are like
easy to
pretty
say,
traumatic things.
just you should be able to do it if you would like to have one. That's it.
Yeah.
It's also
That's the
you
gist of it.
should be able to go to someone who's a
Trained
professional.
professional, and not
yeah,
someone in
you
a back
shouldn't have
alley.
to go
You
to
should
some
also-
back
yeah.
alley because you don't want to get.
You should
in
be
trouble
able
It
to
should
have
be something
ready.
the government provides as a service.
You should be able to readily have
healthcare.
access to, that service, which is why Planned Parenthood is so important. Okay. What you
They're a lot more than that.
Yeah, there's like a
People
lot of,
don't like when you say that.
don't say what.
Planned Parenthood is only for abortions. Mainly for abortion. It's
Planned
not.
Parenthood is
it's
like
a lot more than.
Yeah,
A lot more than abortion.
abortions
They have
are
gyno-
like less than
They have
5%.
gyno-vaginologists.
Yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
Geico vaginologists. Yes.
Guy Fieri gynecologist. Wait, why is it called a gynecologist if only girls go to visit him?
Shut the fuck
Read
up.
the next question.
Someone sent us a shit posting meme that I'm pretty sure Patrick would have made himself, where it's like,
Yeah!
it's Jar Jar holding a picture of shirtless Kylo Ren saying, "Someday Wisa will be in one." This is the fucking worst thing I've ever seen. Thank you, Safik. I hope I said that right. We have a
I
lot
like
of
that
international
white
listeners,
teacher who
that's
doesn't
cool.
know how to say Juan or something.
It's like that Key and Peele skit.
I'm gonna butcher this, but
Aaron.
Aaron.
that was a great accent. That sounded just like him.
Let's see. All right. This is a question for Yaman from Ingrid. She asks, "Did you ever try a recommendation to try watching Orphan Black?
No.
Also, your laugh is adorable."
Thank you.
Okay, so you didn't fucking watch Orphan Black. Fuck you.
No, I didn't. I don't watch things.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
For the record,
You guys don't need to make recommendations. I'm not gonna watch them. I don't watch.
Why did you
anything.
watch the show I recommended?
Because it genuinely sounded like something I would like, and it was towards the end of the semester, and that's usually when I look to avoid all my responsibilities as they begin to pile up.
Wait, I totally forgot we got this slew of photos that Sydney photoshopped us onto different foods. I remember opening up this email at like 3 a.m, out of my fucking mind because I was exhausted. I don't fucking know. And there's Alex Pineapple, me on a pineapple. There's Yaman's face in a bowl of ramen, and then Patrick William Charlton of milk.
What?
How does that make sense?
I
Wait,
don't
how does
know.
that last one make sense? How does
Charlton
that-
of milk?
Oh, maybe
Carton
they think
of
your
milk,
name
oh.
is pronounced Carlton or something,
Carton of milk.
but it's not.
Carlton
That's funny.
Banks?
Okay.
I'm gonna
see
highlight
it.
that so we can post that later because that's funny as shit. That's not that interesting. I'm so sorry. There's like people with like multiple question series that I need to like dissect. Okay, what's your
Yeah, this is. You guys should like for next week. We should star the ones that we
Prepare
would like
better.
to read so that
Oh,
we just
wait.
jump from one to
This
one.
is one I have to like bring up. Oh, there's so many of these. Okay, so this is from Riley.
Yeah, there are.
Riley, who I talked to on Twitter quite a bit. She's great. Hi, my name is Riley. I'm a big fan of the show. It's funny and makes me laugh till my sides hurt. Since Patrick asked for topics, I have one you could talk about. Like the new Black Panther movie. What do you guys feel about that? Because there's a lot of hype around this movie right now. And I'm actually
I'll
incredibly
see it and I'll
excited.
see if it's good. A lot of people seem to like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. The show I work for in NPR is doing an hour on it on Friday, and it's going to be super interesting. We're talking to, I'm not sure if you guys saw the Time magazine cover photo of Chadwick Boseman and the article that went along with it talking about why Black Panther is like so culturally important. We're having that author on the show, and it's going to be really cool. But I think I'm just excited, one, because it's like a great movie, and I'm excited to see that. And I'm also,
I hope it's a great movie. I really hope it lives up to the hype.
yeah, I'm down to see.
It's one of the reasons that I really hate the trailers that have like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever they include the rating is because it's like now
That
you're
shit
prepping
changes all
me
the time.
to look for the flaws in my head subconsciously. Like with Suicide Squad, they said this is the worst movie ever that will ever exist in the history of time. If anything else is put to cinema that is as bad as this, then we should detonate the planet or something like that. And whatever the review was. And then I walked in and I was like, this should be like the Holocaust. And then it wasn't. So, it made me like the movie more. And then with this, I'm really hoping
It's going to have the reverse
it's going to
effect.
disappoint me. Yeah, I really hope that doesn't happen. I really hope it lives up to the hype because Killmonger looks so fucking cool. Black and gold. I love that color combination so
I've
much.
heard Michael B. Jordan's really good. All right, more questions. What's your favorite comedian? This is all still from Riley. Mine are Donald Glover, Joel McHale, and Dave Chappelle. Donald Glover, well, he doesn't do a lot of comedy now, but his one comedy hour is really good. Dave Chappelle is obviously great. I'd say they're probably my
Dave
top two.
Chappelle,
Bo Burnham.
Kevin Segura.
Bo Burnham.
Bo Burnham.
Bo Burnham's number 1 for me.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle number 2. Did they say top 3?
No, just
Oh,
who's
fuck
your
that.
favorite
Okay,
comedian?
Bo Burnham and Dave Chappelle.
Let's see. Who are your favorite?
You guys want to hear since we're on this topic, you guys want to hear an unpopular opinion? Probably like really unpopular.
Go for it.
I don't think Key or Peele are funny. Together, separate shows.
Key
live,
or Peele?
I don't think they're funny.
Oh, I'd have to.
Key and Peele. Key
and
together, separate on like
You
Key
didn't
and
like
Peele
their
the show.
skits?
Didn't like the skits.
Oh.
Didn't like I watched some of their live their stand up. I didn't like that either.
I'd have to-
Never thought they were
I'd
funny.
have to
Even
heavily
the
disagree.
Aaron thing was very mediocre.
I feel
in my
like
head.
that sometimes if it was like a really drawn out skit, that it would lose its flavor really fast. And like some of their jokes were really funny, like the East West College Bowl thing. That was like
Love that.
something I would watch like at the gym and I would find kind of funny, and then I would go back to working out. It was always YouTube clips that I would watch. I would never actually look at their entire show.
Like, obviously, not all their skits were really good, but a lot of them were really good. So they can't all be hits, basically.
Dave,
But I'm a
Sorry,
big fan
go
of
ahead.
Jordan Peele now. Get Out
Because
was
of
an
Get Out.
amazing movie. Yeah, and he's just
Yeah,
Such
he's
a
a
cool
great
guy.
director, producer, whatever he does. It's just
I'm sure he is, whatever he does.
I know. Didn't he do that? He did that one movie, Get Out. What did
Yes,
he do?
he did
He
direct-
exactly
did that,
the
he
one
did that
movie.
one
He directed
movie.
it.
He did
directed-
that one movie.
Well, yeah, I was asking what did he do. I was trying to say what did he do on the movie.
Yeah, he directed
said
it, and it was
he-
dope.
That was good. I think I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Sounded good.
Love Exit now.
What are your guilty pleasure shows? Mine are The Residents, American Horror Story, and John Oliver's Last Week Tonight.
Guilty
Last Week
pleasure.
Tonight is not a guilty pleasure show. That's a quality program.
I don't know if I feel guilt for any of the movies or shows I watch.
Yeah, I don't feel guilty about things I watch either. I mean, maybe back in the day, it used to be Degrassi. I would actually watch Degrassi
Jesus
in
Christ.
like early high school, late middle school.
With
Yeah,
fucking Bacteria Drake when he was just like a little microorganism.
literally, that's how I fucking knew Drake. I knew Drake when he was still Jimmy.
I thought he was
when he
actually in a wheelchair for so fucking long.
Me too.
And then when he started rapping and like actually
I was
making
like, what
music
the fuck?
full time, I was just like, was there a miracle? Is that why he was doing this?
Yeah, God blessed him with a gift of walking again, but he'd also have to rap for the rest of his
But
life.
taking a step back about favorite comedians, I just want to nail down Dave Chappelle, Tom Segura, and what's his fucking name?
Oh yeah, we totally skipped
Are you
over
gonna say Eddie Murphy?
No.
Oh, Louis C.K.
I have to say
Poor taste.
he's so funny.
He's funny.
I'm sorry.
I mean, sure, he's disgusting and
He's
horrible.
also terrible. He's also the worst person ever for doing those fucking disgusting things to those women. That's fucking awful. But still, I feel like you
But
can
it
separate
was
someone's
funny.
craft from their sort of thing. I don't give him money, so
That's true.
Yeah,
I don't go to his
that's the
shows.
thing.
All right.
he's
I'm
not on
gonna pull
my top though. Probably like fourth or fifth down. I have a couple other people that I like more. Dave Chappelle's definitely the top though.
Oh, here's a fun. Okay, this is a good question to end on. This is from KK Lamau. That's what their email address name is. So I'm gonna go with it. First of all, the fan art attached is horrible because I don't know how to draw and I was bored. Looks good to me. Thank you for the fan art. There's a lot of stuff in here that I could have sent to you guys later to look at. But second of all, you've got a great and funny podcast. At times, I listen to it and want to rip my hair out because we have different views on some topics. This episode is going to be one of those, I feel.
Oh man, it's really gonna be one of those.
Most of the times,
bad
I just nod and agree in silence. Also, if you have like differing like opinions on things we talk about, feel free to hit us up and tell us your opinion because I'm always curious to hear what you guys think. Obviously, be respectful of it and just, if it's like discourse, like your feelings on gun control or what your strategy to that would be, that's interesting and constructive, and I'd like to have that conversation. Third, here's a question. I'm back in the email now. What brought up the name Prude Dudes? If there's no story to it, create one on the spot. If this question gets asked often, you may proceed to ignore my question. Haha. Anyways, I wish you through the best. Yay. How did we come up with that name?
Patrick, you can confirm this. We were in an Xbox Live party together when you were throwing out names, and that
I
was
had a
one
loose
of them.
piece of paper with a bunch of names on it, and then I said, "What about this? What about this? What about this?" I think I had 3 of
And
them.
I think you said Prude Dudes, and I laughed at it just like I laughed at the previous 2 or 3 or whatever. But then I think I mentioned that anything you pick, that's how it works with names, unless it's very, very bad or it's I don't know, it sounds like something funny or something like it sounds like a cuss word or something.
Yeah.
Unless it's horrible, anything you pick, it's just you're gonna get used to it. The viewers are gonna get used to it.
I was going off of the template of Funhouse, but there's this piece of confusion that happens with the Funhouse name, and people think it's Fun House as in the building when it's Fun Haus, like a German word. And I just wanted to be if we're talking about the origin of it, I just wanted to be streamlined, easy to search. It rhymes, it rolls off the tongue really easily. There's not much confusion. If you said it to somebody, they wouldn't type in the incorrect thing because they heard you wrong. That's all I wanted. And it sort of vibes with what we are. We're insecure weirdos, social, inept Prude dudes. There you go.
Yep. That's pretty much it. I remember Patrick pitched it to me, and I was like, that sounds kind of dumb, but I'm sure
it'll
it'll
much more professional than it is. I just
we
said
went,
it.
we went into the boardroom. Patrick threw up a couple
Exactly.
names on the
Pitched it.
whiteboard.
Honey, I gotta pitch
but no.
some stuff today at work. I'm really stressed.
That's not how it went at all. There was
There was a
he was in an
PowerPoint
Xbox Live
presentation,
party when he said it to
slides,
me. Probably
clip
burped
art,
beforehand.
gifs, and everything. But no, I thought the name was kind of dumb, but it kind of grew on
Shut
me. So I was
up.
like, I'm sure it'll
You've
grow.
said it every single time we've recorded. You've said that name.
I know, and now I like it. And that's
Oh,
why
sure.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't change
fuck
it.
you.
I mean,
I
yeah,
was
that's exactly what I
specifically-
was saying. It's it doesn't matter. We're gonna
it
get
doesn't
used
matter.
to it.
It's
We're
who we
gonna-
are now.
You literally could have named it anything.
Yeah, I mean,
I
we
remember
could've
there was
probably
there
picked
was,
the worst name.
There was for the Funhouse podcast, the Dude Soup podcast. Dude Soup was their original idea for the channel name, and then on the first Dude Soup podcast, which is the name of their podcast now, the Funhouse podcast is really confusing. But they mention all the names that they had decided about, when the channel launched, and they Bernie Burns was on the podcast, and he was just like, "You guys were really self-deprecating with your names. They were just tired guys and sad boys, and sitting on the couch and being sad people." And I just thought that was really funny because it was this is exactly what I was doing. I was just the most
That's
gray, dull people, basic people, humans.
Is that all you have to say?
Yeah. Why did you wait so long to say anything?
I
'Cause I
call
wanna
people
make you
humans a
uncomfortable.
lot.
Humans?
I call people human when I want to point out that someone's a horrible person, and I don't want to say horrible guy or horrible Christian or horrible black person. I don't want to define them by any of those characteristics. I just want it to
Bad
be
human.
known that they're horrible because they're horrible. What a disgusting human. What a dumb idiot human. I tweet that
That's
Yeah.
fair.
when I see.
Because
at the end of the
stupid
day-
human.
People are just you're a disgusting human being.
yeah,
like,
and it's
Human
it's-
being. I've never understood that. Why is there that connotation at the end? Human
I think it's just
being.
the alliteration of it. It feels weird to say you're a disgusting human. That
Well, that's
sounds
just
like they're
because,
I
that
say
sounds like they're a
That's
That's
special
how I
one.
say it, but that's
Yeah.
a style thing. That's a choice. I agree. It sounds wrong.
Yeah,
human.
it does sound weird. All right, can we end it here? I'm hungry and I want to go
No.
eat. Fuck you. Thank you for listening to the Prude Dudes podcast. Oh wait, did we get any more fan art that we didn't shout out?
No.
Oh, we did. Hold on. Give me a sec.
What did we post?
Why is
Yeah,
my
Patrick,
phone
do the-
always trying to get fucking...
Give me the fan
Come
art. Give me
on.
the fan art rundown, baby.
Getting
Oh, we just
there.
have the one cool one that we got on Twitter. That was good. We got it from at Samwise the Short on Twitter. Drew us up as handsome, buff, cool guys, and it's amazing. It was a nice little stencil. I don't think it's stencil. Pencil sketch. I don't know. Artistic materials. Pencils and stencils probably look the same to me.
It's crayon,
Um,
actually.
But it
Crayola.
actually looks really good.
It looks like
thank you so much.
you guys-
Really captured my Adam's apple.
It's sometimes it's
honestly.
kind of hard to, because when you're drawing a person and you don't realize how much when you draw another person they'll look alike, because you just sort of did the basic like features of their face, and you two
Structure.
are identical most of the time, for me at least.
I know.
It happens.
I've noticed that.
But
It's like
yeah.
we're only differentiated a lot of the time by like glasses.
Yama's not even wearing glasses in this one.
Yeah, not in this one, but this one was like good enough that the
I mean,
All of them are
they
good.
could-
It's
it's
just
a-
like
I don't wear
change it.
glasses when we
it's
record.
hard. It's hard as fuck to like really. You have to really give it your all if you want to like. Why does? Oh my god! They made my jaw look like an anvil. Jesus.
yeah, you literally look like you could like.
I look like Thor.
something
Like
with
it's
that.
wasted. I look like Clark Kent.
But no, it looks really good. I'm a big fan. Thank you for capturing my flow.
I like her handwriting. It's very like symmetrical and.
I like the little
Nice.
tine she gave us: Boss
The
Man,
Vine
the
Guy.
Vine Guy, and Ramen.
Don't let that
I
fucking
like
go to
that.
your head. You're not the boss of me. Oh wait, no. Just of my own stuff. I know that you guys don't get as drawn as often as I do because I'm a fucking god. But unsetting.
Don't let that go to your head, bud.
You finished? All right. Unsetting Paradise drew me, and I look like an anime guy. Unsetting Paradise. Unsetting.
How many times have you been?
Shut up. And she also drew me. I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. She drew me as like a Harry Potter sweater cute boy, anime guy. I really like that as well. And then Steven Zombie Unicorn, underscores in between all three words. She drew me in like this very stylized like ink, and yeah, a lot of them just reference my vines, but I just wanted to mention because I have nowhere like. Sometimes if someone just draws me, I don't want to put it on the Prude Dudes thing, but I also want to post it. But if I posted everything that everybody drew me, it would just be a page full of art, which is why I like the Prude Dudes thing, because it's something dedicated that we can use to just blast fan art the entire way through. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
Are you finished? Can we end the podcast now?
I actually am.
Let us
You're
end the
welcome.
podcast now?
You have my permission to end the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
I need your written
Highness.
permission. It's like a parent slip to go on
My
a field
ass
trip.
is
I
so
need you to
sweaty.
write this shit down.
I
Don't.
hope he's taking his pants off.
I thought
He's
you were gonna
taking
take
his
your pants off. Then you just start rubbing your.
I really
butt.
looked like it, right?
Ow, my legs
Yeah.
hurt so much.
Please, we are really close to hitting 50 ratings on the iTunes store. We are currently at 44 last I checked. That's awesome. And every time I mention it, we get a few more. So if you guys could go on iTunes, or I guess wherever you listen to your podcasts that has a rating system, go ahead and leave us a rating. If you really want to do it, leave us a comprehensive review telling us like
What we do
how
wrong.
awful we are and things we can improve. We might read it. I'll probably take it to heart and take it very personally. Patrick might not actually care, but we'll see what comes of it.
I'll read it, and you guys will never know because I do stuff.
So
like that.
go and rate the show on iTunes. It really helps the show to grow a lot. We've been doing great in the past
Tell
few
your
weeks.
friends.
Yeah, tell your friends too.
Tell,
Spread
tell
the
your
word.
dog.
Tell your dog. Tell your cats. Tell your carrots. Who knows? So go ahead and like the show on iTunes. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Prude Dudes. Follow us on our individual accounts. I'm at AlexPenna97. Patrick is at PatrickCharlton5. And Yaman is at its_Yaman. Thanks again for listening, guys. Hope you have a good Valentine's Day. See you again next week.
Suck my
Bye-bye.
ween.